close your eyes for 3 seconds and think with me, what separates you from a billionaire? Now open them. If your answer was making more money, you're probably already losing. The wealth game doesn't start with how much you make. It starts with what you avoid losing every single day. So why do some people seem to have a money magnet, while others work hard their whole lives and still stay stuck in the same place? It's not just effort. It's not just salary. There's a hidden manual the rich follow, and it starts not with what you achieve, but with what you avoid falling into. Today, I want to show you the 10 biggest financial traps draining your income and keeping you stuck in the endless money race. Each of these wealth destroyers is part of a bigger system, silent but very well designed, that works to divert your money month after month straight into the pockets of someone smarter than you. A system that turns vanity into debt, comfort into a trap, and success into financial prison. Now pay attention, the last item on this list will shock you. Because it looks like an act of love, but it might be the most expensive financial decision of your life. But before we get there, let's start with the first trap. It seems harmless, even practical. But actually, it was born from a silent confusion between comfort and convenience. And the price of that confusion could be years of financial stagnation. Number 1. Invisible subscriptions, the silent leak draining your account. You know that drip you don't notice, but when the water bill hits, it smacks you hard? Now imagine that happening with your money. Every month. Companies count on exactly that. They build a business model where you forget you're paying. And while you sleep, they profit. Solution? Once every quarter, do a financial cleanup. Review all recurring charges on your card. Ask yourself, do I really use this? And if the answer is sort of, cancel it right away. Because keeping a subscription you don't use is like paying rent for a room nobody sleeps in. And since we're talking about money slipping away, disguised as vanity turned necessity, let's move on to the second trap, maybe the most popular of all. Number 2. New cars, the money-burning machine you call a milestone. Buying a new car feels like a win, right? You feel that pride, the admiration of others, that status that seems to say, I made it. But here's the truth nobody tells you. That new car isn't a symbol of success. It's a trap disguised as achievement. What's happening there is a classic mix of status, vanity, and ego. You buy to impress, to feel accepted, to show you're moving up. But really, the new car is a money-burning machine. The moment you drive it off the lot, your status symbol loses on average 15% of its value. It's like taking $200,000 and throwing $30,000 in the trash instantly. 5 years later, the same car might be worth less than half, but if you financed it, you're still paying that high price plus interest, as if it's worth full price. In the end, that dream could cost you $280,000, more than the scary price tag you first saw. And all for what? To feed a vanity feeling that lasts a few months and a debt that can haunt you for years. But look who doesn't fall for this trap. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, drives used simple cars. Why? Because he knows a car isn't an asset, it's a liability disguised as achievement. While many invest to multiply their money, most are investing in instant depreciation and interest. Want real advice from someone who wants to build wealth? Look for semi-new cars 2 to 3 years old with low mileage and still under warranty. That choice can save you tens of thousands. At the end of the day, true financial victory isn't about impressing others. It's about having control and freedom over your money. And remember, the car you buy to show who you are often ends up showing the bank who you really are, a payer of interest and depreciation. Number 3. Chasing gadgets and new tech, the new status slavery. We live in the tech era, and that's amazing. But it also created a new financial trap, the obsession with always having the latest model. Have you felt that? A new iPhone comes out, new smartwatch, new wireless earbuds. And suddenly that device you bought 6 months ago feels old, outdated, even though it works perfectly fine. That's the cycle of emotional consumption disguised as innovation. It's not about need, it's about ego. It's about status. It's about showing you're ahead. But there's a price. You trade thousands of dollars for an upgrade that changes almost nothing in your real life. but it wrecks everything in your budget. And do you know who avoids that kind of trap? Steve Wozniak, co-founder of Apple, is known for valuing simplicity over showiness. He said he avoids getting too close to money because it can corrupt your values. Even being a tech genius, he doesn't live to show off expensive gadgets. To him, technology is a tool, not a status symbol. Another example, Mark Zuckerberg, one of the richest men on the planet, has shown up to business meetings, global interviews, and billion-dollar events wearing the same basic gray t-shirt. Not because he can't afford more, but because he understands true status doesn't need to be proven by looks or consumption. While many people finance a $1,800 phone in 24 payments, they multiply fortunes by investing in assets, not fleeting wants. The rule here is simple. If you need to finance a phone, then you're not ready to have it. And more than that, often you're not paying for the device. You're paying for marketing, social pressure, and collective anxiety. Do you really need that new camera? Or are you trying to take a selfie that says, "I'm successful"? Don't trade your financial peace for a slightly bigger screen, a camera that's 3% sharper, or a feature you'll use twice a year. True upgrades don't happen when you change devices. They happen when you change your mindset. Number 4, impulse buying. The invisible monster eating your money without you noticing. You know that feeling of "I deserve it," or "just this once"? That's the perfect trigger for the most silent monster of financial destruction, impulse buying. You think you're in control, but really your brain is stuck in a psychological trap, a mix of instant reward and artificial desire. And while you feel good for a few minutes, your bank balance starts to melt. The brutal truth: the consumer brain is wired to seek immediate pleasure, and billion-dollar companies exploit this masterfully. Jeff Bezos, the man behind Amazon, knows exactly how this works, and he profits billions from this science of compulsive buying. But you don't have to be a victim of this manipulation. Every time the urge to buy something right now hits, stop and take a deep breath. Ask yourself, will this bring me closer to my financial goals or push me away? Impulse buying is like a bottomless pit. The more money you throw in, the more it disappears. Controlling this trap is a huge step to truly mastering your money. Number 5, credit cards. The false freedom that chains you. Credit cards are powerful tools, but in the wrong hands, they're deadly traps. They seem like easy money, and at the moment of purchase you feel powerful, free. But that freedom is a dangerous illusion. Fees, interest, and penalties pile up like invisible chains that trap you in a financial prison without bars. It's the classic debt cycle. You use the card to pay bills, then pay only the minimum balance, and next month, surprise, the debt grows. Elon Musk, known for his boldness, is a master at controlling debt and leveraging resources to grow. He avoids depending on revolving credit. He knows it's like a fatal trap. Want to escape it? Use your credit card like it's money you already have. That is, only buy what you can pay in full at the end of the month. And especially, don't fool yourself with interest-free installments. The real cost might be hidden in the final price, and you don't even notice. Mastering the credit card is more than a financial issue. It's emotional freedom. Number 6, living for today, the biggest enemy of wealth. The live-in-the-moment culture sound inspiring, but really, it's the perfect excuse to throw your future away. Spend it all today because "I'll figure it out tomorrow" is the recipe to never move forward. If you don't plan today, you don't harvest tomorrow. And here's the secret billionaires know well: patience and long-term vision. Bill Gates, one of the greatest billionaires in history, built his fortune always thinking about the future, investing time, money, and patience. The feeling of immediate gratification is addictive, but it's not worth it when the price is your future financial freedom. To fight this trap, create clear goals and always remember why you are saving and investing. Your future self will thank you for every sacrifice you make today. Number 7, paying only the minimum on your credit card bill, the gateway to a bottomless pit. Have you ever fallen for this? You pay the minimum on your bill, thinking you're solving the problem. But in reality, you're burying your debt deeper and deeper. What seems like a quick fix turns into a snowball that grows every month, while the bank smiles at your exorbitant interest rates. Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan Chase, knows the power and danger of credit. He leads one of the world's largest banks and is well aware of this trap that keeps millions stuck. Paying the minimum is an invitation to chronic debt. If you can't pay the full balance, at least avoid just the minimum and always try to reduce the balance. That's the difference between living for the bank and living for yourself. Number 8. Financing consumer goods, the auction of illusions. Financing depreciating goods is like auctioning off your freedom. You buy an expensive product, split into 48 installments, thinking you're getting a good deal. But in the end, the total cost exceeds twice the cash price, and you're still stuck with a debt that can last years. Oprah Winfrey, who came from nothing, always talks about the importance of not falling into these traps. She prefers to invest in assets that grow and generate value, instead of financing debts that consume her money. Financing creates a false sense of power and consumption while destroying your cash flow. Before signing any contract, ask yourself, will this help me grow or trap me even more? Don't trade freedom for illusory installments. Number 9. Spending on appearance, the quietest waste of your money. We spend on clothes, accessories, fancy dinners, cars, all to look like a success. But deep down, this is a silent waste that drains your money and generates no real return. We're talking about a vicious cycle of trying to show something to others while your bank balance suffers. Mark Cuban, American billionaire, has said he prefers to invest his money in businesses and opportunities, not appearances. He knows true success comes from within and from financial control. Stop trying to impress others with what you can't sustain. Your true financial worth lies in building wealth, not in appearing wealthy. Financial freedom comes when you spend consciously and purposefully, not to feed the ego. Before the last trap, which is the most emotional of all, I want to invite you. If this content is helping you think differently about money, then subscribe here to the Rich Mind Lab channel. Because here we break down the money codes no one tells you about, so you can take real control of your financial life. And if you've made it this far and are enjoying it, leave a like too. That's the kind of feedback that ensures you keep getting content like this and helps others who need to hear these truths. Now then, let's move on to the final trap. And pay attention, it looks like an act of love, but it could be the most expensive financial decision of your life. Number 10. Financially helping those you love, without limits, without planning. When love turns into financial prison, this is, by far, the hardest trap to spot, because it comes disguised as something noble, beautiful, even necessary, helping those we love. And don't get me wrong, generosity is a virtue. But when it comes without limits, without planning, and without responsibility, it turns into an emotional and financial hole that drains not only your money but your energy, your time, your peace. You start by helping a relative with a temporary loan. Then a friend shows up with an urgent problem. And then the requests don't stop. Before you realize it, you become your family's bank with no interest, no guarantees, and no savings. And you know what's worse? Often, in trying to save others, you start sinking with them. This is the most destructive emotional trap of all, because it ties money to guilt, obligation, and fear of seeming selfish. But listen carefully to this. Helping someone financially at the cost of your own stability isn't help. It's mutual sabotage. You can't save anyone if you're drowning too. And you don't create independence in others by being their constant crutch. Who understands this very well? Susie Orman, one of the greatest personal finance experts in the US. She says, you first, then you help others, because you can't be useful to anyone if you're financially broken. Helping consciously is fine, but you need rules, limits, planning, or you'll end up compromising not only your future, but also your mental and emotional health. True love also says no when it needs to. And that's the hardest, yet most freeing decision you can make. These were the 10 traps that are destroying your wealth without you realizing it. Each one alone is dangerous, but together, they form an invisible system that traps you in a never-ending money chase. Now you have the key to start escaping. And remember what I told you at the beginning? It's not about how much you earn. It's about how much you stop losing. Most people try to get rich by accelerating. True wealthy people start by plugging the leaks. Now tell me, which of these traps will you eliminate from your life first?